So I didn't know exactly what to expect from this experiment, but these being the biggest definitely wasn't it. So I've been curious for myself to see exactly what nitrogen does on a plant. So I'm going to use my A, B, and C test setup behind me to find out. To do this, I'm going to be using this program called HydroBuddy, and that's going to calculate my different parts per million and my targets. This is based on the Hoagland solution, and the only thing I'm going to mess with here is the nitrogen concentration. The nutrients I'm going to need for this is chelated micronutrients for plants, 0.5 grams, potassium nitrate, 0.7 grams, soluble potash for plants, 4.7 grams, triple superphosphate, 1.8 grams, calcium nitrate, 2.5 grams, magnesium sulfate, 6.7 grams, and magnesium bisglycinate is a water-soluble pure magnesium in a form of 0.6 grams. This solution is going to get mixed up, and this is going to be my A pail. To mix up my B pail, we're going to take all these chemicals out of here, and we're going to be using calcium nitrate, and we're going to use magnesium sulfate, and also the Master Blend Tomato, which is a tried and true formula for me. So I'm just going to keep on using that. It'll be targeted again at the Hoagland solution, and because I've messed around with those numbers, I'm going to be changing that back to make sure the ppms are right and carry out the calculations. And the results are as follows, and I will just round this up to 12.8, and this to 5.4, and 8.3. The parts per million ends up as a result on the side, so you can kind of see the difference between the two. Don't worry, I'll also stick these into a spreadsheet so we can compare everything once we get these plants grown. So this will be the solution that we're going to be using for the B pail. Now to mix up the C pail, I'm going to be doing exactly the same thing as the B pail. The exception will start once the plants get about 2 inches tall. I want to see at least one true set of leaves before I start messing with the nitrogen concentration there. What I'm going to end up doing here is we're just going to use urea in this calculation, add that to used. We're going to zero all the targets, and we're just going to select 30 parts per million and carry out the calculation. I get exactly 30 at 3 gallons, and that means 0.7421 grams. I can't measure that well with my equipment, so we're just going to round this to 0.7. And at 0.7, that gives me 28.354 parts per million of nitrogen. I'm going to do this every single day until we kind of see some kind of result. At that point, I'm not going to add any more nitrogen, and we'll let it run that way for the remainder of the test. Now, you may have noticed as well when I'm doing these calculations, they are based on a volume of 3 gallons of water, and I will in fact be mixing 4 gallons of water. This is intentional. There might be some nutrient solution left over in the bottom of my pails. Although they were flushed with RO water, there might be something left in there, so I still want to get the result that I'm kind of after. So after that flush was done, this will essentially just take all those nutrient balances and just bring them down a little bit, and I'm okay with that. We will measure the EC and the pH as well when we start this experiment, so we kind of know exactly where we're at to start. Okay, the starting pH of the A pail is 8.35, so we'll definitely pH adjust that one. We have a pH of 5.87 for the B pail, and the exact same for the C pail, 5.87. So these two I'm happy with. That's close enough to 6 for my liking. I'll adjust this one and we'll remeasure. All right, so after pH adjustments, we've got this one to 5.89, which is pretty dang close to B and C. We'll call that good. So we have an EC of 1.4 for the first pail. We have an EC of 1.7 for the B pail, and an EC of 1.7 for the C pail. Nothing left to do now but pour the solutions into the respective rows, turn on the pumps, and let's see what happens. All right, so for those of you concerned about the nutrients I'm using, you're not the only one. I'm also concerned. I might have to find a substitute because there's definitely some grit left at the bottom of the pail. It's not much, but there's definitely some. I think it's from the triple super phosphate. It's supposed to be water soluble, but I'm wondering if there's some additions in there. I don't know, well, shows up in the video, but there's definitely something there. I will try to make this work. I've just taken a shot of water out of here, swished it around, and it's going to go in this pail. I hope I don't get plug drippers. We'll see how it goes. Well, I just checked the whole drip line. As of right now, everything's going, so fingers crossed. Let's hope it stays that way. So just as I suspected, that triple super phosphate is what was creating all the sludge. I don't know if this is going to affect the test, but I'm going to let it run and we'll just have to find out. If not, I've already got some different replacement chemicals coming, and I will try that instead. So at this point, everything in the grow is up, and I'm just going to take today and thin everything out so that there's just going to be one plant left in each pail. That's what it looks like all thinned out. In the cases where the plants were too close, I used shears. At this point in time, I'm just going to leave the rest and let nature take its course here. So I decided today to just check the pH inside of my ABC test pails here, because my reservoir on my main grow had dropped quite a bit, and I found these aren't out of range. They're not too nasty, but the first pail is down to 5.3, so it needs a little bit of pH up. I'd like to see it at least between 5.5 and 6.5. The second one's at 5.24. The third pail is at 5.23. So I'm going to put a little bit of pH in there to try to get it to between 5.8 and 6, and I'll call it happy for today. So they all took about the same amount of pH up for all three pails. I didn't get them in the range of 5.8 to between 5.8 and 6 where I wanted them, but they're close. They're 6.08, 6.1, and 6.08. That's about as close as I can get by just my little rudimentary syringe here, but we'll call it good for today. So this one is the low nitrogen. This is our control, and we're going to be adding 30 parts per million to the right side here today. Now, to make sure I'm not skewing anything else, I'm going to just take a beaker of the solution right out of this reservoir, mix the urea up in here until it's totally dissolved, then it'll just go right back into that same reservoir. Yeah, this stuff must be crazy water soluble. It hasn't taken long, and it's just about all dissolved already. And just a comparison before this starts, in case something goes horribly wrong here with the high nitrogen, there's a look at all the plants. So it's been 2 days since I did my nitrogen addition on this row. Here's what it looks like. Nothing is looking like it's getting too much, so I'm going to do it again. So I've got another nitrogen addition solution, same as the other ones, going into the res today. And this is what our plants are looking like so far. We're going to do one more final addition tomorrow. So I've left these things completely alone for the last week and a couple days. This is where we're at. Now the only thing I'm going to end up doing today is I do need to put some more water in here, and because I don't want to mess with it, it's just going to get a jug of straight RO water, and then I will re-pH all three of these reservoirs. Now for those of you interested, Pail A and Pail B both needed pH down to get it back in range. They were a little high, nothing crazy, 6.65, and one was 6.6. So very close for these first two. The last pail, Pail C, no pHing needed after I added the RO. Otherwise, I would have needed some pH up. Okay, so we're going to start out by measuring the EC pail or row C. That one is 1366. We've got 1425 in the B pail, and we've got 1123 in the A pail. No surprise there. Moving on to pH, we have a pH in the first pail of 6.5. That's in the C row. Got a pH of 7 in the B pail, or in the B row, and a pH of 6.88 in the E row. So here's what the grow looks like from the top. We got, that's the A line, the B line, and the C line. Okay, first up we're going to take, and I'll pull these plants out. They're going to go onto the scale over there, and we'll weigh these things up. I'm going to weigh the tops, and I'm also going to weigh the fruit and see what we come up with. So A row first plants, we've got 155 grams. There we go. 155 grams we got for the greens, and we have 39.8 grams for the fruit. Okay, B row first plant, 196 for the greens and 22.5 for the root. On the C row, the first plant, 249 for the greens and 31.3 for the fruit. B row second plant, 284 for the greens and an impressive 95.3 for the fruit. And I was sticking them in here like this till now, but it just doesn't even work. I mean, that's a solid radish for the time that I grew it. So the B row, the second plant, 448 for the greens and 58.6 for the fruit portion here. C row, second plant, we have 309 for the greens and 26.8 for the root. This is A, the last plant, 252 for the greens and 48.6 for the root. B row, last plant, 192 for the greens, 35.7 for the root. And the C row, last plant, we have 259 for the greens and 30.7 for the root. And if you're wondering what that looks like side by side, we got the A, the B, and the C. So I've entered all the totals into the tracker kind of here, and the total plant mass, you can see the differences between the A, B, and the C. The total root mass as well is listed there, which means we had an average plant weight of 230.3 for the A pail, 279 for the B pail, and 272.3 for the C pail, which is kind of surprising that more nitrogen didn't just give me more growth. I guess once you get to a certain point of nitrogen, anything excess, it just goes to waste. Now the average root weight is 61.2 for the A pail, 38.9 for the B set there, and 29.6 for the C set. The only thing I can kind of equate that to is a nutrient imbalance. There was maybe some nutrient lockout occurring in the B and C pail, or those plants just favor other nutrients that were in a higher quantity for the set and that got the larger growth on their roots. Totally possible. The other thing we'll take a look at here is the final EC before and after. So the EC on the A side there, it ended up going down by 0.28, the B side 0.291, which is very close to the A side. And then the C side, it did use more nutrients. It was a 0.347 that it had dropped from the start to the finish of the test, but it didn't equate to more useful product in the end. Now, as far as the pH goes, we had a drop of, we had an increase of pH of 0.89 on the A pail, 1.16 it went up in the B pail, and a 0.63 in the C pail. So all of them could have used some more pH down again to get more draw of the nutrients up to the plant. But I mean, if you look at the difference in nitrogen in this test, like C had so much more nitrogen in comparison to the A side. There's like nothing in there. And you could definitely tell by the greens and the weight of the greens that reflected, but it definitely didn't affect the fruit at all. In fact, the fruiting portion just totally benefited. I guess the plant was just focusing on the root. And maybe it's different for a rootstock plant versus a plant that has the fruit crop on the top. That is entirely possible. This to me is why these type of experiments are enjoyable. I was expecting to see a massive really light yellow leaves on the A side, and on the B side, like super dark, maybe with some burnt tips. Didn't see that. I guess I could have upped the concentration even further to see if I could go to where the tips of the leaves start to burn. But already I can learn something from this. So what do I do with this information? Right now, I'm still mulling it over. I'm not sure exactly how to process this. It makes me kind of wonder if I should be doing less nutrients on some of my other plants. Maybe I've been putting too much stuff in my reservoir. I don't know. It's going to require some mulling over for other growers that have been kind of, paying attention to the tests that I do on this channel and stuff. If you have some wisdom to impart, leave it in the comments down below. I'm always reading the comments. I've always got tests on the go. In fact, the next one will show up on the side. I'm going to be working with the P value. I think it's phosphorus. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's phosphorus, the P value, and kind of the same type of experiment as I did here to see what the effects are on the plants there.